Attorney General Merrick Garland is in the hot seat right now, facing the new Senate Judiciary Committee for the first time this year, newly seated. That testimony got underway in the last hour. Merrick Garland faces criticism from Republicans for how he has handled the investigations into former President Trump and also President Biden when it comes to classified documents. Opponents say he has gone soft on his boss. I want to bring in Boyd Matheson. He's a Republican strategist and former chief of staff for Utah Senator Mike Lee. Always great to see you. Thank you for being with us this morning. So Republicans allege political preferences are in play right now in how the department has handled the classified document probes and investigations. How should Garland address those concerns as he is grilled by senators this morning?
Yeah, he's going to have a really tricky task there because he actually has both Republicans and Democrats questioning how that's being done. You have Democratic Senator Mark Warner and Republican Marco Rubio really leading this gang of eight, saying, look, you're not sharing with us what you found, how you found it, what the process is. And I think that's the one thing that the senators on both sides of the aisle are trying to get is, are we weaponizing and politicizing all of these activities, or is there really a disciplined process to it? And if there is, show it to us. Show us your work. It's kind of like your fifth grade math teacher. Show us the math, show us the process so that we can say this is not politics. This is not targeting opponents. This is something that is broad brush and really keeping that balance, which is the job in the Department of Justice.
And what if he says, I haven't solved the equation yet. My work isn't finished. Do you expect they are going to get the answers they want?
I don't think they'll get them today. I think there'll be a lot of tap dancing today. But I know there was a meeting yesterday where some of those documents and some of the information was shared in the SCIF, in the secure room there just outside the Capitol. But again, I don't think anyone is really satisfied just yet. So this is one of those that I think will be across the aisle. Pressure will be coming from both Democrats and Republicans to show a little bit more of the work because the process matters. And where we have a society that is losing trust in the institutions of government, when we've stress tested our democracy and our constitutional republic in famines and wars and all of those kinds of things, but we've never stress tested in the absence of trust in the institutions. And I think Merrick Garland really owes not just the Senate, but the country some of the showing of that work so that we can continue to have confidence in the process and the institution.
And then to build that trust or to reinstill that trust, was it the right move to have these two cases under review by two different special counsels?
Yeah, I do think having two special counsels is a good idea just because there are different dynamics and the process was different. The cooperation levels were different in terms of, when they began and how that played out. So I don't have a problem so much in terms of having different special counsels. Ultimately, it's all going to come back around anyway.
One of at the heart of this debate is the differences between these two investigations. The documents seized at Mar-a-Lago and how that was handled, the documents seized at President Biden's office and home. And you could probably throw into the mix the documents found at former Vice President Pence's house as well. What stands out to you as the key differences when you're asked that same question? What's different? What's the same here?
Yeah, I do think the one thing that the Biden administration can say and that the Pence administration, so to speak, could say is the cooperation factor, that there wasn't the dragging of the feet, there wasn't the stonewalling. There was much more, yes, come in, you're open to anything. I think where the questions will come in is, so when did they know they were coming in, and did that give them a so-called unfair advantage to know that the department was coming in to get documents as opposed to Mar-a-Lago, where it was more of a surprise visit there? Although I don't think anyone was too surprised that they were coming because they'd been battling that back and forth. So a little bit of difference in terms of process and cooperation. But to me, the bigger issue and the bigger question that we need to get to is, why is this happening? And I'm sure you could go back to President Clinton and President Obama and President Bush, and I'm sure there are some sloppy things there. That's a good question for us to be asking in terms of process and discipline when it comes to things that are top secret issues.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.